Hi, I'm Elaine Harding. Welcome to my blog at stampwithelaine.com. Today I'm using the Pretty Pillowbox dies again, and I promised I'd show you how I made a gift card holder using these dies. This is the gift card holder, and as you can see it's from the Pillowbox dies, and I've made it into a purse. So undo that, and then you can put a gift card holder in here, and I've had to put a bridging piece on the bottom because otherwise the card, you can't put it up this way because then it will show, and if you put it in without the extension piece, this card will show as well. So I'll show you how I made it. You have to be careful how you handle it because there's very little leeway on either side. It's only about probably a 1/16 of an inch. It's that delicate, and that's why I put extra layers here and here to strengthen the box. So obviously the first thing you need will be the Pretty Pillowbox dies. I have taped this aperture here with the 2 holes in it to the top of the main die so that I can punch the holes at the same time. You need this die and this die to create the label and tag. I'm also using the frosted gingerbread stamp set to stamp the kisses and sentiments. To die cut the pillow box as a gift card holder, you need a piece of cardstock cut at 5 inches by an A4 length and fold it in half. Then when you put the die on, you want to make sure that the die's bottom cutting edge is free from the fold of the card. So place the cardstock and die, cutting edge face down, on your cutting sandwich. So you need platform 1, the thin die adapter platform 2, one of the base plates, platform 3, with your cardstock and die on top. Then when you come to placing the second plate 3 on top, then make sure that it's free from the die cutting bottom edge of the pillow box die. Then you're ready to run it through the machine. Now we can unfold this. You might have to free the cardstock like so. So just snip it off. To cut that away. Now as you can see, this side looks unfinished, it's the raw edge, whereas on this side, that's the right side of the die, and you have a much more presentable front. If you want this side to look pretty too, then you can reinsert it into the die, and this time you want to reverse your plates. So you have your platform 1, platform 2. Now you want what was your top cutting plate on the bottom. Place your die face up with the die cutting edge face up. And the reason we do that is so you can see that it's exactly in this right spot. Then you place your second cutting plate, which is the bottom plate, and it's heavily marked. Place that on top and make sure it's free from the die cut here. Make sure it doesn't move. Place this on top. Make sure the cutting plate isn't in contact with the bottom of the die. If you look at the cardstock, both sides are pretty. The other pieces of cardstock you need So with the die, you need to cut another piece in basic white for the inside of the pillow box. You need 2 patterns of gingerbread and sweet peppermint designer series paper, and you cut 1 each of these, and then from the leftover on this piece you can cut another section for that. You need to die cut 2 scalloped edges from the stitched scalloped die in the Penned Flowers dies set. This is part of the hand pen petals, which you can find on page 105 in the annual catalogue for 2021 to 2022. We also need a label and a tag for the pillow box in basic white. Granny apple green and real red ink, real red ruffled ribbon and some linen thread. We also need a bridging piece. This is cut in crumb cake and 1.5 inches by 3.5 inches. In metric that will be 3.5 centimeters by 9 centimeters. And on the short side you score at 3/8 inches, 3/4 inches and 1 1/8 inches. In metric that will be 1, 2 and 3 centimeters. So now we want to assemble our box, but before we do that, get a credit card or gift card, and you need to measure where you're going to cut. So draw a pencil line, draw a long line so that you can see it on your trimmer. Okay, see what I mean? There's not a lot of room for error. I forgot to record it, so say put it about 1/4 inch where the fold is, okay? Then line up your cutting blades on the lines that you marked, and then cut down, and then from this bottom line you cut up, and that way you won't accidentally cut right through the cardstock here. Rub off the pencil lines. You won't see it anyway because we're going to paste cardstock on it. That's the pretty side, so you want that facing out. So you fold this up and burnish the lines, and do the same on this side. So apply adhesive, make sure that the ends are and you want to reinforce the folds there. Pop it in the fold here, make sure it's in the right place, and trim away. Fold the whisper white piece, and then you want to trim on the score line there. And glue that to the inside of the pillow box. And on this lid piece you also want to trim off where you can see a score line and attach it to the top of this in here. Next I'm going to do a bit of stamping in Granny Apple Green on the label. I've put a mat underneath because these are photopolymer stamps and they need an extra cushion. I'll set that aside for the ink to dry. Ink this up with real red and stamp this next sentiment. Now you probably think, for goodness sake Elaine, why didn't you stamp on it first before you glued it? Well, that's what I should have done, and that's what you should do. I was just too impatient. So ink it up. I'm masking that off so I don't stamp on the designer series paper. swap inks, swap to this trio of stamps. Now, next thing to do is burnish your score lines on this bridging piece, and you want to put glue on this section, the bottom of this piece here. Okay, and you want to put adhesive on this side here as well, and glue it to the opposite side. Line it up with the score line or the fold at the bottom and pinch it together. Make sure it's right on the edge, then pinch it together and wait for it to bond. Now you can pop your card in and it should sit into the valley of the middle fold. Okay, now we want to put glue on here, so take your second pattern piece and cut on the fold, the score lines. And then apply adhesive and pop that on so that it's in flush with the bottom. Apply adhesive along the edge of that line and stick this on top just to finish the edges, and then trim from this side. Do you know what? I made a mistake. This piece that I cut a whole piece out of, I shouldn't have done that. I should have cut the cardstock in half, so 3 inches by 6, and then I can get 2 pieces of this. As it happens, I've now wasted it, so that's a slight adjustment. Do you know what? I think you can get away with 2 1/4 inches. So that's what I've done here. Right. Now put some mini dimensionals on the back, and I've taken the backing strip off, and I'm just going to use that as a guide and pop it in the center. Then thread from front to back. Oops, I forgot the label. Let's stamp. Then double up the linen thread so you can make a loop, and then pop one side underneath and the other side on top. Tie a knot. So voila, that's how you make a gift wallet out of the Pillowbox dies. All the links to the supplies are below this video in the show more section. You can also find me on Facebook, Pinterest or Instagram. If you'd like to read more about this project, then hop over to my blog at stampwithlane.com. Thanks for watching, and I'll be back with more inspiration next time. Bye!